When I was a student at the University of Illinois, I was in my 5th year at the University of Illinois. I was one of those students who was, I excelled, so I just screamed through my undergraduate in 5 years. And in my 5th year at the University of Illinois, I had a professor, my favorite professor of all time. His name was Dr. Wengert. He was a philosophy professor, and he taught the philosophy of ancient Greeks, Aristotle and Socrates and Plato. It was a fantastic class, and one of the things that he taught us was, according to the ancient Greeks, what made for a great messenger, a great orator, a great speech giver. And they gave 3 components, and he said of all 3 of the components that you give, the most important component in giving speeches is passion. Passion. The ancient Greeks said you could mess up on your content a little bit, or you may not have a huge amount of personal credibility with your audience, but passion makes up for that. Passion is everything. The last thing you want to do is put people to sleep in a message. It wrecks all of the content and other credibility that you might have. So at the same time, I was first starting to learn how to preach, how to give messages to people who at the time, university students is who I was talking to all around Illinois. And so I was trying to put this into practice with sometimes good luck and sometimes not such good luck. And I was first preaching, I remember an early engagement when I was looking around the room, and no kidding, less than 10 minutes into the engagement, there's somebody sleeping right near the front. I was a little bummed, so on the way home, I was just newly married with my wife, Kelly, and so we drove home together, and on the way home, I turned to her and I said, "Sweetheart, you really need to get more rest." Okay, not a true story, just a fun story, okay. Well, whether you're talking about speech or poetry or sculpture or painting, any type of artistic form comes to life when it's birthed out of passion. Most of you don't know that I myself am a bit of a novice painter, and I have a special interest in art and art history. Both of my grandmothers were fabulous painters themselves, and so I paint a little bit, dabble. This is a painting that I did just on Friday. I just painted this painting on Friday with my daughter Haven. It's not too bad. So, yeah, somebody clapped up there. I'll take $100 from the clapper right up there. And, art is birthed out of something that you have passion for. Have you ever thought, if you were going to look through the lens of art, the lens of painting in particular, about the most inspirational moment in all of world history? Yale professor Yaroslav Pilkin said this about that subject. The victory of Jesus over the gods of Rome and Greece in the 4th century did not, as both friend and foe might have expected, bring about the demise of religious art. On the contrary, it was responsible over the next 15 centuries for a massive and magnificent outpouring of creativity that is probably without parallel in the entire history of art. Have you ever thought just how different art history would be if there was no crucifixion of Jesus? How much would be lost? How much art would not have been done? How much would have been uncommunicated? These men that made artistic representations of the cross was so meaningful to them, it birthed in them a passion that they had to communicate. And they wanted to communicate it in such a way that moms and dads would show up in front of that art with their kids and explain to them, this is the story that the artist is telling through that, and the message would be passed on from generation to generation. As a matter of fact, so much has been inspired by this single moment in history, the drama of Jesus' final week, that this final week has become synonymous with the word passion. Passion. And this Sunday, oftentimes known as Palm Sunday, is also called Passion Sunday. And this passion has swept over the world and over our culture like a tour de force that changes everything. We oftentimes don't notice the vast and deep impact of the crucifixion on our everyday lives. We're like fish that are swimming in water that don't recognize that we're in water because we're so surrounded by it. Our key challenge in gauging the influence is that we take for granted that in our world which has been sculpted by Him. We swim in the waters of Jesus' influence so completely that we disregard the water. Jesus' influence has swept over history like the tail of a comet, bringing inspiration to art, education, science, government, and medicine. His cross has taught humans about dignity, compassion, forgiveness, and hope. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today.